Welcome to another episode of What is Hashimoto's with Dr. Martin Rutherford. To find out more on any of our topics, or for information on scheduling a consultation with Dr. Rutherford, please visit us at whatishashimotos.com. And now, here's Dr. Rutherford.
So some of these presentations I do on Hashimoto's are done from questions, and the question was, what are Hashimoto's thyroiditis symptoms? Hashimoto's is primarily an autoimmune problem, but it shows up first as a hypothyroid case because over a period of time, you have a thyroid that has started to get attacked by your immune system. And in the beginning, when you get this attack, you may only get symptoms from the hypothyroid aspect of this. And what that means is that as you attack the thyroid, the initial response is you start to lose thyroid tissue. And that causes you to make less thyroid hormone. So normally in the beginning, you'll get fatigue, you'll get tired, you'll usually start putting on weight you haven't changed your diet, you haven't stopped exercising, your routine's pretty much the same, but all of a sudden you start putting on weight. Some people gradually, some people not so gradually. Hair will start falling out. To varying degrees. Hashimoto's, the hypothyroid aspect of Hashimoto's slows everything down. So it can slow down your intestines. It can slow down your stomach, so you can start getting stomach acid. You could get GERD because you don't have enough hydrochloric acid in your stomach because the thyroid is slowing it down, so you can get acid indigestion. You can get gas, bloating. The most common gastrointestinal symptom that you'll get will be constipation because it has to do with helping your nervous system to ultimately make the bowels move. So everything slows down, your bowels move down. One of the most common causes of constipation is hypothyroid. So you'll get those. Swelling around the ankles is another one. Dry skin. Normally the dry skin's usually on the shins of the ankles. Sometimes you'll get myxedema of the face. We've gotten questions about why I get puffiness in the face. So basically everything slows down. You're not clearing, your liver's not clearing, your lymph glands aren't clearing, so you're starting to get puffiness. And then as the attack keeps taking place and more tissue goes, but as the attack keeps taking place more and more, then you start activating these enzymes more that create the thyroid hormone. And during the attacks, you will get, usually intermittently, you'll get, I think the big one is kind of anxiety intermittently for no reason at all. Anxiety happens, you're getting too much thyroid hormone during the attacks, and it creates a situation that sets off a stress response in your brain. Insomnia, you can get insomnia, you can get inward tremors. Hashimoto's thyroiditis has an affinity to also create an attack on something called your cerebellum. It's called molecular mimicry. A lot of times these two things will get attacked at the same time, the thyroid and the cerebellum. And so you might get inward tremors for no reason at all. Night sweats. You can get night sweats from some indirect function of the thyroid affecting your estrogen hormone balances. So anxiety, inward tremors, panic attacks. You can get panic attacks in extreme cases, and insomnia, night sweats. For some of you who have for some of you who are like the 20%, the thin Hashimoto's patient, I have a presentation online on the thin Hashimoto's patient on PowerHealth.net, PowerHealthTalk.com, and that person will actually have an inability to gain weight, where the average Hashimoto's patient will put weight on for no reason at all. This particular aspect or form of Hashimoto's, the patient will actually have more of those hyperfunctions, more anxiety, more panic attacks, more insomnia, more inward tremors, more stuff like that, more hot flashes, more night sweats. It's more night sweats than hot flashes, actually. But they'll also not be able to put on weight. They're like, I've never been able to put on weight, and I'm jittery, and I have more energy than anybody could possibly imagine. So there is that. It's a symptom and an aspect of Hashimoto's. That patient is more of an outlier, more in the minority. But just for a sense of completeness, to try to answer this question, you might be the person who sent this in might be the thin Hashimoto's patient. Those are like primarily the main symptoms that you would look for. Outer third of the eyebrows disappearing. That's another one. Outer third of the eyebrows disappearing is usually a sign of thyroid problem, not particularly Hashimoto's, but Hashimoto's usually is hypothyroid first. Thinning of hair on your scalp, your face, places where you normally expect to have hair, your genitals. If that starts thinning out along with the hair up here, that also is another sign. Waking up tired after having 8 hours of sleep, that's another sign of fatigue, just that type of fatigue. I would say I think that covers the vast majority. Depression can be. Lack of motivation can be, as I just get done saying that was most of them. But those are biggies. Without a doubt, Hashimoto's can be a main cog and component in a person developing profession, or a lack of motivation. It slows everything down, it slows brain function down. It creates inflammation in the brain. It decreases blood supply to the brain. Hashimoto's does. So I would say that's a pretty good starting point. That's probably 80-90% of the symptoms that I see and hear all the time. And so I think that answers that question. That it's a lot of different symptoms. When I first started doing Hashimoto's and people would come up with all these symptoms, I would go like, oh my God, like, what am I going to do with this person? And the answer was get their immune system under control and dampen the immune attack against their thyroid. So that is symptoms. That would answer the question of what are the symptoms of Hashimoto's thyroiditis.
Thank you for joining us for another episode of What is Hashimoto's? To find out more on any of our topics, or for information on scheduling a consultation with Dr. Rutherford, please visit us at whatishashimotos.com.